Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Wiesner of Flourish Columbus, and in this video we're going to talk about the pelvic inlet and the pelvic outlet and what that means for you in your laboring process and your childbirth process. So we know that we want our bones and our joints and our tissues to move and stretch as we progress through our pregnancy and as we go into the laboring and childbirth process. But there are some specific things we can do to help open up the inlet and outlet at certain times of labor to really help for a more smooth delivery. So we're going to talk about that today. I have the pelvis with me. So when we talk about the pelvic inlet, we're talking about the entry for the baby into the pelvis. So we're always thinking about the baby's point of view. So for the inlet, we're in this nice circle area. So you think about the baby's head coming down, engaging into the pelvis. You want to make sure you have plenty of room here for baby's head. This can be really helpful if your baby is in a OP or a sunny side up position, or maybe they're not quite in the right position yet for birth. They do a really good job of spinning themselves around. So if we have good mobility here for baby's head, that's going to allow them the freedom and the ability to move and shift around to get into that really good birthing position. So in future videos, you will see some exercises specifically designed to help open up the pelvic inlet. And you want to work on these throughout your pregnancy so that you're comfortable with these exercises and the positions that really encourage opening of the inlet. You also want to get your birth partner on board to make sure that he or she knows what works for you and that you just have that good support so that when you are in labor and things are getting intense and you're riding those waves of contraction, that you can really kind of just revert back to the things that feel good for you and not have to think too much about it. So early labor, we want to work on opening the pelvic inlet. The pelvic outlet is the flip side of that. So it's between your sits bones, your pubic bone, and your tailbone. So this kind of circle, or not your tailbone, excuse me, before your tailbone. So you want to open up that area so that baby's head can come out and can come out into the world. So if we think about exercises to open that area, I have videos for that as well, taking you through each different position, talking about things in standing, in sitting, using an exercise ball to help encourage opening up of your pelvis. Another thing we kind of want to talk about and think about is the movement of the sacrum, and specifically the tailbone. There's not a ton of movement in our pelvis, but these structures do move, especially in pregnancy, especially in the childbirth process. They do move to accommodate baby's head coming in and baby's head and body coming out. So just keeping general mobility of your hips is an excellent idea and something you want to do again throughout your pregnancy, just to maintain that mobility and flexibility so that as childbirth nears, you feel nice and good and you don't have any range of motion restrictions there. Another thing I really like for my pregnant mamas to do is to really work on the soft tissue of their lower back as well as the glutes. So you want to make sure as your baby and your belly are growing that the soft tissue of your spine and your back can allow for that. If things are really, really tight, then it's going to be a little bit more challenging for baby to grow. That's when things might get kind of cranky and you get some pain potentially. But if you really work on massaging that, having, a prenatal massage or your support partner, your family, whomever you feel comfortable with, massaging that area, making sure that the soft tissue is nice and mobile, That's number one, gonna feel really, really good for you. And number two, it's really gonna help as pregnancy progresses, as you move into those later stages, and then towards the ultimate goal of childbirth. So those are some tips and tricks for pregnancy, and then thinking about preparation for labor. Check out some of the other videos I have posted to see some of those specific exercises for general hip mobility, for pelvic inlet exercises, pelvic outlet exercises, to help you find a good labor flow for your birth.